know who we are. You know who we are. We are QPR.
"1968 started with a home game against Rotherham for QPR. Mick Leach returned from injury for his first start in 2 months, and the good form continued with another rout. Leach marked his return with 2 goals. Ian Morgan added another 2, with Rodney Marsh and Roger Morgan completing the scoring in a 6-0 win for Rangers. Preston were up next, and it was another win for Rangers. Rodney Marsh with a double in a 2-0 win before we faced Preston again a week later in the FA Cup. This time, Rangers were on the wrong side of the result. Mike Keane scored for us, but Preston ran out 3-1 winners to leave us out of both cup competitions, but there was still all to play for in the league. It was another London derby up next, with a trip across London to face Charlton, and all was going to plan early on. Rodney Marsh grabbed another before a double by Roger Morgan put us 3-1 up. One of Morgan's goals came after the Charlton keeper was laid out injured. QPR played on, with Morgan scoring into the empty net, which incensed the Charlton players and fans. The goal was given, and Charlton keeper was stretchered off. With no sub-keeper and outfield player winning goal, and QPR looked set for another big win, but Charlton pulled one back in the 89th minute to set up a lively finish to the game, with Keith Peacock scoring an injury-time equaliser and leaving QPR shell-shocked. In what was becoming a very tight promotion race, this was certainly a case of a point dropped, but we remained top of the table. Crystal Palace were up next, and a return to the side for Alan Wilkes saw him score the opening goal, and Rangers got back to winning ways. Ian Morgan's 7th goal of the season ensured we ran out 2-1 winners. The team were looking a bit shaky at the back though, and our form began to dip. A trip to Derby proved to be disastrous as Brian Clough's side thrashed Rangers 4-0, our heaviest defeat of the season. Alex Stock responded by moving for a new striker. We were heavily linked with Swindon striker O'Rourke, but he joined promotion rivals Ipswich Town instead. So Rangers made the move to sign Frank Clark, one of 5 brothers who all played professional football. Clark made his debut away at Bolton, replacing Mick Leach in the starting 11. But it was another frustrating day for Rangers, with the team getting a 1-1 draw thanks to a goal from Roger Morgan. So as February ended, Rangers remained top of the table, but it was just 1 win from the last 5 league and cup games. Rodney Marsh was now top goal scorer with 9 goals, closely followed by Roger Morgan and Alan Wilkes, who both had 8. Ian Morgan, Mike Keane and Mick Leach all had 7 goals, but goals were starting to become hard to come by for Alex Stock's men. It was Hull City next for QPR, and again it was a struggle. A late Rodney Marsh penalty earned Rangers a point, before a trip across London to Millwall, which was never the easiest place to go. Les Allen returned after a long layoff, and Rodney Marsh produced one of his finest moments in a QPR shirt. A corner on the left was played short by Roger Morgan to Rodney Marsh, who started to run towards the near post. He nutmegged 2 defenders before smashing a shot in off the underside of the bar to send the travelling QPR fans into wild celebrations. Marsh at his absolute best with his 10th goal of the season. Millwall were a decent side though, and they equalised in the second half, and that made it 3 draws in a row for Rangers, who are now just a point clear of Ipswich and Blackpool, ahead of a massive game at Loftus Road. It was Blackpool who were the visitors, with a chance to draw level on points with us. QPR were without a win in 4 games, and they needed to turn things round quickly. On a rainy early spring day, Ian Morgan put QPR ahead in a close-fought game. Blackpool were more than a match for Rangers though, and they pushed hard for an equaliser. But a nice pass from Les Allen found new signing Frank Clark, who slotted the ball home for his first goal for the club and ensured a vital win for QPR. We remained top of the table, but with a 3-point gap to 3rd place ahead of a trip to Blackburn, Frank Clark was again on the score sheet with a vital 1-0 win. So as March came to an end, we were still top of the table with 8 games to go and a tough looking run-in, including a trip to Ipswich and a game against 4th place Birmingham City. It was all to play for, with a place in the 1st division at stake. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Coming up next time, the running continues and it's crunch time as Rangers face top of the table Ipswich at Portman Road.